Do you want to be a Code.org pro? Read and listen on. First step, when you open a Code.org assignment, you can see that there's multiple sections to the assignment. You should start with the first section. Make sure you read everything. If there's things to click on, you might consider clicking on them, like this. Check it out! Now you have all sorts of information about declaring and assigning a value to a variable, including examples. Once you've gone through each section, watched the videos with their awesome sound effects,
The Force will be with you.
and completed the assignments, there's a couple of tips for completing assignments I'd like to show you. First tip, read the instructions, all of them. If you don't know how to do something, it's likely that the instructions show you how. For example, click Show Me Where and run the code again. Here! Change the number here! Also notice, if you don't have this shown, you can display a toolbox. The toolbox shows you the code that you'll be using for the assignment, complete with syntax, which is the fancy word for what goes where. If you need more examples, you can click See Examples, which will show you the API documentation page. Make sure you scroll down far enough to see the syntax, which is what order the code goes in, and the parameters, which tells you what each piece of code in the syntax does. Teacher, what does the X do? That X parameter is a number. It's required, and it does this. Also, read the tips for more information. Secondly, there's a Help and Tips tab up here. It'll show you, if you don't understand, things you can look at and read. Here's how to draw shapes in GameLab. And so on. Also, sometimes, there's other tabs at the top, such as Key Concept tabs. These are likely the things you're being evaluated on. Finally, if you want to make coding a little bit more drag and drop, click this Show Blocks button. Suddenly all your code is forced to be in blocks, and you can drag blocks into your code and snap it in, and then edit the code within the blocks. Remember that there is different kinds of code in the toolbox, and mousing over and hovering over them will give you an opportunity to see an example. Last pro tip for Code.org and coding in general. If you're struggling with a particular bit of code, it's a good idea to copy one of the examples because you know that it works, and then paste it into your code. This is easier to do in the text version. And if it's done right, you can go right back to blocks. Now you can modify this code that you know works to be a little different and see what happens. So here's your Code.org tip summary. Tip 1. Read all the things, and don't forget to scroll. Tip 2. Look at the Help and Tips tabs and other tabs and hints at the top of assignments. Tip 3. Show the blocks. Move the blocks. Drag the blocks. Love the blocks. Tip 4. Use example code, but always attribute if you're using code from someone else.